thought we were going to lose that one yesterday. I thought there was no shot they weren't going to score in the ninth.
Right.
Do we wait till the next 2 outs?
I think we go.
Yeah, try one of these.
Yeah, get it.
No, you don't have to move it. I got stuff coming.
We're watching. Oh, you got stuff coming?
Food. I'm gonna have
Oh.
it right there.
Rocky, put the
I
sauce
look so
next to it.
into this.
You don't want to eat on here?
I don't want to sit there and do a Jim Hawthorne. Crunch and chips on there.
All right. Whenever you finish that.
Hawthorne used to let Hannah Griff do the 4th, 5th, and 6th play-by-play so that he could eat.
Oh, really?
And you would hear him a lot of times like doing color and beat, and then sometimes he'd want to say something and he'd be mouth full. Yeah. The Tigers up. I was like, come on.
Everyone smile.
Couldn't wait.
There you go.
Weather couldn't be better.
Oh, this is nice. Yeah, this turned out really nice.
Brutal this morning. I was a little nervous.
Oh, well, I was so scared.
Me too.
The sky was so dark, too. I was like, this is bad.
I woke up and I literally kept checking my phone. Like,
I was waiting. I texted her. I was like, text Meg at Modesto and make sure like it's not flooded. Like,
Esmia, are we live? We're live.
We're live.
It's getting
We're in the
better
mix.
and better each week. The process gets quicker and quicker.
Yes.
What's up, y'all? I'm Abby Alonzo, joined by Anthony Ranaudo. Getting some Beyond the Box reps now. Getting
Yep.
good at it.
Yep.
Of course,
getting some under our belt.
we have a guest. We have a very special guest with quite the rap sheet.
That's about right.
He's
Rap sheet.
laughing, but I
Rap
mean,
sheet.
come on. The CEO of the Louisiana Sports.
Could y'all mind if I just put this food like right here? Like I'm just gonna put it right here.
Incredible.
We're just gonna show off the Modesto
This is it.
food here.
We are at Modesto for a live show. We're here
Thank you,
every
boss.
Sunday. Mr. Ronnie Rantz is showing y'all the amazing food that they
It
do
really
have.
is good.
We have video.
He's set. He's ready to go. But like I said, you've got quite the resume. CEO of Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Foundation. You were part of the 91 and 93 national championship teams,
Woo!
which I'm excited to ask you about.
Yeah.
You own the Rugaru.
That's right.
Rugaru.
Excited to talk
Which
about
you
that.
know a little something about.
Yep.
You know a little something about it.
Alumni.
And you broadcast. Do you have any downtime ever?
No, and
That's why we're lucky that he's here.
I got a new thing from a rap sheet that hasn't really hit the public too much yet. A month ago, the governor of Louisiana appointed me the head of the state boxing and wrestling commission. So that means that every MMA fight, every boxing match, and every pro wrestling event, I approve. Our commission, our 7-person commission approves, and you're gonna like it. So they did an overhaul on the boxing and wrestling commission. They had a commission that was kind of old. They had a lot of 70, 80-year-old guys that had been on this commission for many, many years, many, many decades. New governor comes in, wants to kind of overhaul some things, kind of modernize some of the things that we do to kind of catch up with the leaders like Nevada and Connecticut and Florida and others. And so he wanted some new blood. So he asked me to be the chairman of the commission. And one of a guy you know very well, we needed some representation from different parts of the state, and you have different districts.
Yeah.
So we have a guy by the name of Mike Hollander who's also
No
on the commission.
way. Let's go.
So
That's
he's up
awesome.
from the New Orleans area. He's an attorney down there.
Yeah.
Played with Anthony. He was the
Yep.
captain of the 08 team
Yep.
at LSU for LSU Baseball. So it's great. It'll be good to see him once.
That's really cool. Yeah, we'll have to get him on the show and have him talk about it too. And he probably has some good stories because he had 3 years before I got here, and he was a senior when I was a freshman.
Yeah, he was the Smoke Laval days. And
Yeah, he probably got some
carried over.
Yeah,
the
he
Ball
probably.
days.
Yeah, he's got some good stories. I bet.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
We're
Glad to be here.
busy, man. Swinging through to come through.
Turn
and
my
talk
glove
some
around.
baseball with us.
Looks better this
It
way.
is the top of the 8th right now.
It's
LSU
not looking pretty.
5, Mississippi State 12. We were talking a little bit about the show. This weekend has been interesting to watch. What are your overall thoughts on the team this season so far?
Going into the year, I thought that the pitching was going to be really good 1 through 20. And you know they didn't have Skeens, but they got a guy in Holman who, at least till this weekend, his numbers look like Skeens. And so I thought 1 through 20 they had a chance to be really good because remember, you know, we kind of look back at last year and romanticize what LSU did last year because they won the national championship. But if you remember, it was a struggle for a lot of the year. They did finish 3rd in the SEC. They could have finished 4th if they played the game against South Carolina and lose on that Sunday, which they probably would have early in the year when South Carolina was really good and LSU wasn't. So, you know, and we forget about that. We forget that Hurd had a 7 ERA until the last, you know, month of the season. And we kind of forget about the flaws they had. And because they won it at the end. And going into this year, I thought, okay, 1 through 20, they're really good. Last year, they had 2 starters. They had a couple relievers they trusted, and that was
question marks,
And then everybody showed up in June and played well, and that's why they won. This year, we thought they would show up throughout the whole year. And they did until this weekend on the mound. The offense, though, I always kind of question. And because, you know, I felt comfortable in 5 of the 9 players in their lineup. I felt like that we knew who the 5 were that were going to hit. You know, the 3 catchers and White and the kid from Bingham from Arizona, you know, had 3 years over there doing great. So we kind of like, you knew what you got in those guys. And Jones, you knew what you were getting in those guys. You didn't know what you were getting in others. The middle infield, left and right. And so, and that's proved to be true. You know, some of the guys we thought, Bingham, not doing as well as we expect. We thought he did 330, 340 for sure. He's hitting in 2s. And the 3 catchers are all doing great. Tommy White's having a good year, not a Tommy White year, not a Dylan Cruz year, and they need him. They need him to be 360 with 22 homers. They need that guy.
And he needs 100 RBIs again.
Yeah.
It's hard
and
to do.
So right now, without that production, that offensive production, that up and down, I mean, look, this is all you need to know. They faced Xavier. Xavier came in, 3-game series. Team picked ERA over 7. Their ERA went down after the 3 games at LSU. North Dakota State comes in, 2-game series. Their ERA as a staff over 9. Their ERA went down after the 2 games at LSU. That shouldn't happen.
No, I agree.
You
No.
You talked about a couple guys. I do want to ask your thoughts on Michael Braswell, on how he's been hitting and what you see from him.
Well, I never expected Michael Braswell to be a great hitter. I mean, he had 255 last year and started about 38 games at South Carolina. And so I don't think their expectation is that he's going to hit 300.
Right.
He needs to hit 250 or better, right? Because he's a good shortstop, and they like what he does defensively. And he's got just such a long swing. I mean, there's a lot.
This is why I asked you, because
there's a lot of things there. There's a lot of things there.
I don't know why any. And again, I'm the biggest LSU fan, so I feel like a hater. But I'm like, if any pitcher throws him other than a fastball underneath his hands, they're dumb. They're just
well,
dumb.
you know, the thing is that. Like, I say this because, you know, you and I, of course, bleed purple and gold. And I've been doing television and radio for 25 years, and I always struggle with how critical to be with college players. It used to be like Saints, let me have them, Pelicans, let me have them.
Pros, that's your
college
job,
players or whatever sport, you're a little bit more soft shoe with it, okay? You blame the coach more because he's the one making the millions, right? But these are pros now. Like I saw Tommy White get a $52,000 check in August at a card signing. Okay, like these are pros. Let's not forget it. They're all getting money. Some are getting more than others. But they're pros. So I look at it differently.
Especially when you transfer in, right, and you're getting paid. There's expectations now.
And so not that all of a sudden it's like a free pass to be ugly. It's not that. But you can be a little bit more critical. I mean, look, Zion Williamson was 19 years old when he got all that money and came to the Pelicans, and we were as critical as could be about his weight and everything else.
It's a great point.
Right?
It's not about age.
And so now these guys are 20, 21 years old. They're getting paid. They're not getting paid as much. They're getting paid. They're pros. So we can, I think, let it fly a little bit. But with Braswell, look, hit 250, I'm happy.
We'll be good.
250 or better, I'm
But
happy.
that means, like you said, the people around Tommy White need to start doing the things, right? And we need to have the people at the top of the order do their thing, get on base. One of the guys that I've been disappointed again, I have had expectations, hopes, I think, Paxton Kling. I mean, I don't know. I want him to figure it out so bad, but it just seems like he can't get it right.
Right now he is in a bad way. I mean, he's swinging and missing by a lot.
I know.
You can see the frustration. You can see the no confidence. Paxton Kling, the thing about Paxton Kling is that, he was in football, he'd be a five-star recruit, right?
He was literally wasn't he the highest ranked player?
He was one of the highest players. We kept hearing the Mikey Matuk comparison, the 5-tool player like Mikey and all that kind of stuff. He was an East Coast dude. He had good moments last year. They didn't ask him to do too much, but in the little bits he did well. And now they okay, here it is. They give it to him. They give him the spot, and it's just going the other way.
Yeah, it's going.
And
the
so
other
I mean, they
way.
really need to sit him down and let him play on a Tuesday, get some confidence back, because you might lose them, and they can't afford to lose.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Milam, he had a tough fall, but I'm high on that kid.
I love him.
Well, what's not the I tell you, Skip Bertman. I was riding with Skip a couple weeks ago, and we were going to to see you on that Friday at the LSU alumni deal. And Skip said to me on the way there, he said he saw Milam a few times in the fall, and then he went to the steak dinner they always have with the Guitros in January, and they were at that steak dinner, and he asked somebody, he said, "Hey, go get Milam. I want to talk to him."
There it is. Look at this.
And
it's so good. It's so
and then
good.
he comes over and he goes, "Hey, listen, big guy Skip Bertman here, LSU Baseball.
LSU Baseball.
I just want to tell you, you're really good. So you're good. You're going to be a great player. Swear to God. Saw you play. I like you a lot." And, now, hopefully Milam took that as, okay, the Godfather blessed me, and now I went out there and took that confidence. Skip even said, "I'm not saying I didn't know anything."
That's why he's batting 400.
He says, "I'm not saying I didn't know anything Jay didn't do." He said, "But I really liked the kid."
Yeah.
And he was right. Skip
And he
was
said
right.
that at the alumni thing too. And no, I love that kid. I kind of the Sunday before opening weekend or opening week, Coach Maneri and I went and watched one of the scrimmages, and he was telling me about him, and I'm like, he's like, they call him Monster, and he was bulging out of his uniform, and what the
Both of you with the impressions.
We're gonna talk about why we
Yeah.
impersonate coaches like that. It's so great.
You both do it seamlessly.
I can't tell a story and say what Maneri said without using a high pitched voice. And it's not. I think it's disrespectful. It's just that's the way he talks.
I mean, Anthony, that's how I talk. I mean, it's not.
Wait a
It's just
minute.
It's just a thing, I mean, Skip's more of a Skip's more of a John Wayne voice, and I'm a little more high pitched. But Karen, that's how Karen likes.
That's Karen.
Oh my gosh.
I told you he's the best at impersonating.
Holy
It's
cow.
unbelievable.
That was great.
Yeah,
Sorry to get to
no,
get
it's
you
good. That's the whole
off
point.
track
We're
here.
telling stories. That's it. I want to talk about why we impersonate coaches too. But yeah, he was basically talking about Milam, saying that he was a stud. He was talking about him recruiting, talking about being from New Mexico, and. So I kind of had my eyes on him, and then for him to come out the way he is has been really impressive. And obviously he's holding down the top of the order somewhere in there. I don't think he let off today, but I mean he's up there and he's getting on base. He's batting almost 400 if he's not. I mean he's up there. So.
Well, he got some good juju or something because Skip
'cause
talked
Skip.
to him in the fall. Paul talked to him in the fall. He told
right.
us on the show 2 weeks ago that he kind of gave him the same kind of speech thing. So it's paying off. I guess.
Yeah, people see
not
something.
to take anything away from him. He's
No,
worked his
I mean
ass
he's
off,
obviously the one doing it all on the
Right,
field,
but
obviously.
he
But,
knows
As a
Yeah.
freshman, he doesn't smile.
No.
He's not. I haven't seen him smile any game I've done. He's an intense dude, and just, I mean, he looks like a prototypical second baseman, especially a college second
100%,
baseman.
yeah.
And look, I mean, I expect there's been some greats that have played second base here. I mean, you go back to the Todd Walkers and the Warren Morrises and on and on and on. But I mean, and even DJ LeMahieu, ended up playing second in the big leagues, but he was a shortstop here, and obviously Ryan Shem played. So many guys started off their career. The Mike Fontenot started off their careers playing second.
Yep.
He looks like a Tookie Johnson is a name that you wouldn't know, but he was the captain of the '91 team, and when we won the national championship in '91, he had the most hits in LSU history at that time. And Tookie was this blue collar guy from New Jersey that just fielded every ground ball off his chest, and then threw him out by this much.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna let it get it by him.
Right, and that's how Milam is. That's how Milam is. I mean, we've seen him dive and knock balls down, get up, throw them out.
Yeah, love him.
We'll break from a little bit of the analysis side. I want to hear some Skip stories.
Oh. I mean, there's so many. Tell
me
anything from Mississippi while we're watching
Oh, yeah,
Mississippi State?
absolutely. I'll tell you the Skip story is Mississippi State. We were there playing one day, and this is a famous Skip story. We were there playing one day. It was a beautiful day like it is here. Sky's blue. Everything's feeling good. It's like the fifth inning, and all of a sudden, the umpire comes in, and he's like, hey, delay. Mississippi State guy comes on. We got a delay. We got a tornado coming this way. And we're like, what are you talking about? It's beautiful. There's nothing in the sky. So no. We got a call. There's a tornado in the edge of town. We got to get everybody into the Humphrey Dome, the basketball arena up on the hill. All right, so we all go into the basketball arena. Sure enough, You know, we were like, how do you know? Because this is back, I'm old. This was back before Doppler 8000, you know? And I'm like, how did y'all know? And they said, well, you know, Bubba from the farm down the road called.
Bubba
said,
from the
we
farm.
saw the tornado, so we all went in. Sure enough, they were right. F5 tornado goes
Holy shit.
right through downtown Starkville
What?
and does $1 million worth of improvements to the town. To the town. So that's a skip. That's a skip. That's a
That's
skip when he used
so
to tell
good.
that joke all the time. you know?
Improvements. I can see him saying it.
And then another one he would say, Skip would say, I love Starkville. Anytime I'd tell Virginia to book a room for me in Starkville, I'd tell her, make sure she got a hotel without a view. You know, because I didn't want to see any. And then the other one he would tell, Skip would tell, he would say, you know, Starkville, you know, they're junior high. Starkville Junior High for their prom. They're really smart. They're geniuses. They make sure that the prom is in the gym right next to the nursery school so they get their kids after, you know, on their way home. It's brilliant.
That's so great. I'm sure there were some other ones probably that we can't say nowadays too.
Share.
Ron
older-
Polk, who was the legendary coach at Mississippi State, and Skip Bertman, they're like on the Mount Rushmore of SEC
Yeah.
baseball coaches. They were good friends, but they would give each other a hard time. And you know, Ron would give Baton Rouge jokes
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Louisiana
that's so great.
jokes, and
Yeah.
then Skip would give
I
Starkville
can
jokes,
imagine.
and they
There's
did
probably
that
some
for
good Baton
decades.
Rouge jokes in there
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Ron Polk's a legend, dude. By the
Yeah.
way, he coached at UA. Is he still coaching at UAB or what?
No, he's not there anymore.
You want to hear something crazy about him that I love? So I just shook his hand after the game, you know, never had a one-on-one conversation with him. This man wrote me a handwritten letter every single year on my birthday in professional
Yeah,
baseball for
yeah.
9 years, or 8 years. Unbelievable. I
Yeah.
kept every one of them. I still have them. It was awesome. Yeah, from
He
his UAB
does that.
letterhead. Yeah.
He's legendary for that. He
Yeah.
writes personalized notes every day of his life.
Yep.
You know who else does that?
Who?
She writes 10 a day on minimum, she told me. That is Gail Benson, owner of the Saints.
Really?
She writes handwritten notes, or she'll cut out things in the paper. Like when I got the job as the CEO of Louisiana Sports Hall of
Yeah.
Fame, I didn't know Gail. Her husband, Tom, was inducted into Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, but prior to 2016 when I
Yeah.
took over. But she sent me a note and an article with an article about me in the paper in the Picayune, and then she sent me another note at some point, you
I
know.
love
And
that.
I saw her at the DC Mardi Gras this year because Drew Brees was the king, and
Yeah.
and Drew's going into Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame this summer.
Right.
And so I was talking to her about it, and I thanked her. I said, look, I appreciate a couple notes that you've sent me, and she goes, I do it every day. You know, she says I do 10 a day.
Oh my
you know,
God, I love that.
At least 10 a day. you
That's
know. I mean, that's
crazy.
pretty
So
cool.
personal.
Good for her.
That's
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
No,
And
I mean,
it's nice to see people way high up turn around and do that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, Ron Polk's been doing that for 4 years.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever. My
Yeah.
first year of pro ball, I'm reading this, and I'm like, Ron Polk. I'm like, I want to say he even left my sophomore or junior year. Like at that time, that's when he
Right.
left, because it was my freshman year that we had the last game in the old box when we did the farewell to the box. It was against Mississippi State, and he wrote my first letter about that. And I was like, I was a nobody. I hadn't pitched 7 innings that year, you know. For him to write that in professional baseball to me every single year on my birthday was so cool.
Well, Doug Thompson, who's from Biloxi, was recruited by Mississippi State, and he was going there. And then at the 11th hour, LSU swept in and
Oh, I
offered him.
love
He
that.
came here.
Yeah.
And
I didn't
when
know
he
that.
went to Mississippi State on a visit, Ron Polk offered him like a big scholarship. He was an in-state kid, and Ron said, you're the missing link for us to get to Omaha,
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
We just need you, and so like. Doug was fired up. Like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
so he goes home, and then when he gets home, he's about to call the next day to commit, and he had a voicemail from Beetle Bailey, who was an assistant coach at LSU in the 90s. That hey, sorry we're late to the party. We want to get in there, and so Doug wound up taking the visit, and the rest is history. And when he came on his visit, Skip is sitting there with Doug Thompson in the office, and Skip says, "Let me guess. Ron told you you're the missing link."
He gave him the recruiting
He
pitch.
goes, and then that's all they need you. And Doug's like, yeah, like how do you know? Hey, like I know him. Like I know. Listen, I'm not going to tell you that. See, if you come to LSU, look, Doug. Here's the deal. I don't know if you can pitch or not, but we're going to go to Omaha with or without you. And I'd love to have you. You come here, we'll give you a chance. If you deserve it, you'll be the guy. They say you can pitch. I don't know. I've never seen you. And Doug was the type of guy who loved that. Not
Yeah.
every player does.
No,
some
yeah.
players give me the sure thing, give me the
Yeah,
love,
exactly,
kiss
yeah.
my ass.
Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
Validation, right?
Doug
He's
was
like,
the
"No, no,
guy
I'm
that
gonna
was
come."
like, No, I'll take that challenge.
Yep.
I'm gonna show you. You know,
Yep.
this is, you know, and the rest is history.
And
He was a
Doug
great
Thompson,
pitcher.
for everybody who doesn't know, and anybody who's listening on YouTube, maybe my family from New Jersey, Doug Thompson is the guy who got the last out in the 1997 College World Series on all kinds of posters around here in every restaurant, on the Advocate, kind of with a great celebration. And a kid from Jersey, watching that. So I don't know if, I mean, you probably knew this just from guys talking, but we would always watch the 97, we would watch all the highlights, but the 97 one for some reason was the team that we kind of
188 homers will do that.
Yeah, exactly. That was nice. It was nice. It gave us a little juice and everything. And we had those juice bats, those stealth, those orange stealths. So we were trying to be like the 97. Yeah, all those things.
Clark and Dean with
Dude, it
those
was unbelievable.
trampoline bats.
Yeah, it literally, the ball would sound like this off the bat, and you know it was going 450 feet. It was crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. Doug's one of my best friends, and it's funny because he was a pitcher 97, 98, and was a great pitcher. Whenever I go to the doctor's office, you know, if you got to grab your ankles, you see Doug.
Yeah.
You know, he's on the wall everywhere.
Grab
It's
your
unbelievable. You know, like,
That's so great. No, he is. Yeah, that's awesome.
Just a quick update as we have the game up right here. Bases loaded, bottom of the 8th. Mississippi State is up 12-5 with 1 out.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's
not looking good
pretty.
for them, for LSU in the rubber match. Yeah. Branzini's still on the mound, it looks like.
all right. Former Rugaru pitcher.
There we go.
July 2023.
23.
Okay, talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
let's talk about
Rugaru.
that. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, so, you know, for those that don't know, and look, yesterday was a big day for us with St. Patrick's Day. We had a float, you know, we had Hiller Moore, the DA, and I are good friends, and our float was wrapped. You know, Baton Rouge Rugaru were the 4th float, and so we had Rugaru, we throwing Rugaru beads. We had all the interns wearing
Your colors make sense, too.
Jerseys,
Yeah.
walking alongside the float, handing out pockets. We handed out 3,000 pocket schedules yesterday on the
Pocket
route.
schedules.
You know, yeah.
We need to get some of those for the shop at the register. too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
you
we'll
gotta give me
definitely get
some
you
of
some. But the Baton Rouge Rugaru is a summer collegiate wood bat baseball league. And the best way to describe it is if minor league baseball, but with college players.
Yeah.
We don't pay them, we just feed them and house them. You know, that's basic. And this year we're feeding and housing 30 because we got hardly any local kids. You know, it's a lot of out-of-state kids. So we got a lot of housing to do. But it's fun, man. It's June and July. This is my 3rd year that I've owned the team. The team started in 2019, didn't play in 20, had a different owner in 21, and then I took it over in 22. We've grown each and every, we do 50% attendance-wise last year from the year before.
Nice.
I think this year we're going to have another bump. You know, this year, if we don't, I mean, I think we have a pretty good team. We've already got 30-something players signed. Coaching staff's out of Texas. Our head coach is a guy from the state of Texas, and he's coached in summer college baseball for years.
Saw that. Yeah.
And has coached in Alaska and won championships in our league. And we're just ahead of the game in all aspects. More now than ever before. We're going to have 20 interns this summer.
Wow.
You had, what, 6?
Wow.
7 when you were there?
Yeah, there were about 6 of us.
You did a lot of things. You wore a lot of hats.
Oh my gosh. It prepared me for now.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Exactly. There you go. That's
I
good.
mean, like, we literally will have like 20 interns.
That's
Like, we're literally
awesome.
like trying to figure out things for them to do, which is
Yeah.
a little different than
Wow,
when you were
right,
there.
Yeah, that's much different.
But no, I'm excited. I'm excited, and our first game's May 30th against
Nice.
a new team, the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators.
Oh, wow.
New team in our
Gumbo
league. They play at
Gators.
McNeese.
That's sick.
And then, so there's 3 teams in Texas: us, Acadiana Cane Cutters, and Lake Charles Gumbo Gators. The winner of Texas will play the winner of Louisiana.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're actually that's how
Okay.
we're bracketing it. There's 3 in Texas, 3 in Louisiana.
Nice.
There's the Victoria Generals, the Brazos Valley Bombers, and the
Bombers.
Seguin River Monsters.
Yep.
Nice.
And who, you know, when we get to the playoffs, 2 out of 3
Yeah.
on that side. Top 2 teams in their bracket, top 2 teams in our bracket, and
Nice.
then 1 game winner take all
Yeah.
on August 3rd.
The growth that you have instilled with that organization is incredible. Even for the
Thank you.
whole league, honestly, the whole TCL, it's come such a long way. I was there in, 21?
21, yeah.
It needed some work, but like to turn around in 2024 and see what you're doing, not only for that team, but for Baton Rouge baseball community
Yeah.
and stuff, it is incredible.
Well,
So
we
congratulations.
thank you. We hired a guy part-time, John Wilson, to be our commissioner just a few months ago. He's out of Illinois. He had experience in minor league baseball and whatnot. He's a marketing guy, and you know, we're creating a new website right now. We'll launch that April 1st for the TCL, Texas
Nice.
Collegiate
Wow.
League. The Baton Rouge Rugaru. If you go to brrugaru.com, we just launched a new website last week. And
Your
so-
branding and marketing is I told you that at the
Yeah.
alumni thing, dude. It's
Thank you.
impressive. Yeah.
I mean, look, the reality is that that's what it's about. I mean, you got to get the word out. You got to get the buzz going. You got to get people to, you got to seem cool and hip, and let's go check it out. I mean, look at the bananas, right? The Savannah Bananas,
Yep.
which, by the way, we're never going to be. Everybody always asks, are y'all going to be the Bananas? I'm like, there's only one guy in the world, Jesse, the owner of the Bananas.
Yep.
He is P.T. Barnum. There's nobody else can replicate it. Nobody else can do it.
Great comp.
He's the only guy in the world. And but we're not going to be, but what we can do is they kind of took off with their TikTok and their
Yeah.
Instagram and
Social
all that.
media, yeah.
And they understood that if they go that route, then it's going to create this storm. And you know, so we're gonna do our best to be a little small version of that.
That's cool.
You know?
No, that's awesome. They're paving the way and changing the game, and it's super fun and entertaining. But I got a question. How do you select? You said you have 30 guys signed already?
30-something already.
So how does that work? Do you work with the coaches and say, hey, I'm interested in this player, like college coaches around the country?
It can go different ways.
Or do they reach out?
It can go different ways. You know, it used to be the old days when you played and I played. Assistant coaches would have a relationship with certain teams.
Right, exactly.
So if you were Smoke Laval, for example, when I was in college, he was our assistant coach at LSU. Skip Burton didn't worry about sending people to summer ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Smoke would
Plus it was
handle
Javi
it.
Sanchez and Terry Rooney and Cliff Godwin.
So
things
they
like that,
had they had certain relationships, and honestly, back when they made no money, now all assistant coaches are rich at the big schools. I mean, Nolan Cain's rolling. Okay, so like the coaches now make a lot of money, but back when they didn't make hardly any money, they would get paid by, like, the Cape Cod would be like, hey man, you send me a player, I'll get you $150 a player.
Yeah.
You know, and so they had these relationships, and they would put money in their pocket. We don't do that. No, we really don't have that budget. You know.
It's going towards websites and,
Right,
and
exactly.
badass jerseys and jackets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but what we do is our coach has relationships. He's been around for years. He's got certain schools and certain teams
Nice,
he has
yeah.
relationships with. Obviously, I have relationships, and so we'll reach on that. But the one thing I found is, you know, coaches are busy, man. You know, like, I mean, Jay Johnson doesn't want to talk to Ronnie Rantz about summer baseball right now,
Right.
especially after this weekend.
Right.
Right? So, you know, you have these conversations in the fall. You have these conversations in the spring. You pick and choose your moments. But, hey, just give me the player's number.
I'll go do,
You know, if I get one LSU player on my team, I'll network through and get
Nice.
the other.
Right.
Because it's up to the player. And some players kind of, they need to understand, a lot of them kind of use the excuse, I'm not going to play for you because my coach said. Your coach just wants to know you have a place.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He just wants to know you're going to get reps, you got a
get
spot.
innings,
That's it.
exactly.
And he doesn't really care where you go. And so I want to talk to the player and be like, hey, look, this is who we are. This is our story. We're going to take good care of you, you know, and blah, 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 blah. And then kind of we have a little 5-minute, 6-minute video we made, the kind of recruitment video
nice.
to
That's
send the
cool.
players. And, you know, so far so good.
No, I love it.
Like
How do
I
you?
said, you've done a lot. Like, you've changed the game.
No, I love it.
For real. I saw it firsthand. Like, I was.
Yeah. What was your role with the Rugaru? Everything.
Whatever.
When
You were
I
an
was
intern?
on, there was one day-
I've seen so many pictures.
She
of you
coached
doing-
first.
I know.
Wait, yeah, hold on. I started off in the press box doing color for TCL TV. ESPN Radio picked us up a couple times, and then there was one night I was on field engaging and doing that
Like,
thing.
with a
and
mic,
then
like, on field?
somehow, yeah, with the mic.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I
That's
know you're good with the
whole
mic.
thing.
Okay, don't worry.
And then somehow I got put in a uniform and coached first base the last series of the
Somehow you
weekend.
didn't ask at all.
On my life, it was not my idea.
Really?
It was a publicity stunt. I
I find that hard to believe that you did not ask the coach.
Well, they didn't have to twist her arm.
Exactly.
but she may not
She's
have
out here
asked.
saying that she could hit off me to this day. I'm like, there's no shot. I was like, I want to see you get in the box in. So that's why I'm like, I don't believe that you didn't say I could coach
You
first
think you
base.
could get a hit off of him?
Maybe it's ego issue, but I really
We gotta
think
set that up. I mean, that's
Like if you face them for one at bat.
and I've been throwing a little bit right now
Look,
too. So
I'm not saying it'll be a hit, but I think
You
I
think you
can
put it
touch
in
the ball.
play?
Yeah, I could put it in play.
I don't even think you hit a foul
It's
ball.
on camera. I'm saying it to the camera.
I don't
It's
even think you get a foul
recorded.
ball.
What?
I will say I'm a little nervous making this bet on
Wow.
camera because we were up in Chicago. We were, Kristen Nuss and Taryn Cloth. They're the LSU beach volleyball team that's duo that's going to go to the Olympics this year, and we are covering them, doing some content with them. So we went up there. We may have had a few drinks in Wrigleyville one night, and we go to Sluggers.
Happens.
Yeah, it happens sometimes, right? This girl's got some tequila in her, and she's like, "I can hit off the fastest machine." I'm like, "Bullshit!"
They
Let's go.
had batting cages.
Like
there.
actual batting cage.
Right.
She gets in there, 15 pitches, hits every one. Like I'm talking like I'm like, I don't even want to go in after.
Oh wow!
Her. Like,
I
so
didn't
was
have
like,
that bullet before I started giving her a hard time. I mean, like
Yeah.
I was
15
very.
in a row off
Yeah,
the
I'm
highest
telling,
speed.
didn't miss one.
Wow.
It was like to the point that people in the bar started like gathering and were watching, and I was like, felt like I was doing the Bart Simpson into the bush thing, where I'm like, I just want to get out of here, and I don't want to take this challenge.
Yeah, 'cause-
I did bet her $100 if
And
she
I-
didn't take it. I was like,
took
there's
it
no
out.
way you can't hit everyone, and then she did hit everyone.
Wow.
But thank
Good-
God we didn't
good
shake
that
on
she
it.
didn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
So knowing that, I really think I could put it in play. But we might have to make that happen.
I don't think so.
Oh, I would love
Mama
that. That'd be-
Alonzo's in
We can do
the.
it at Pete Goldsby.
Mama Alonzo's in the chat. What do you think she thinks?
Oh, my mom's
Yeah,
hanging
she's
out?
in there. She said Alonzo's are
Mom's
here.
watching a baseball show today.
Yeah, look
Appreciate
at
you,
her.
Mom.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
Okay, we were talking about you mentioned Omaha.
14-5, by the way.
That's
Oh,
brutal.
Yeah, I think this one's over.
2 outs, bases loaded still. Okay, we'll change
Yeah.
the
All right,
topic.
sorry.
Bronzini's still in there? Or somebody else?
Yeah, I think he's wearing it right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
There
I
you
think
go.
they're just like, hey man, we need you to just eat some innings right now. Poor guy.
Yikes. Omaha. I want to hear about your Omaha experiences. I've heard of Anthony's stories, but you went. I mean, you won it twice.
Yeah.
Two times.
Unlike Anthony, I never got in the game. I got up in the bullpen, but that was the closest I got to
You were
it.
in
I got
Omaha.
I got up in the bullpen in '91. No, so back then it was a little different format,
Yeah.
right? Anthony played when you had 2 pools and then you had a 2 out of 3 series, and then when I was there, it was a true double elimination deal until the final game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then had 1 game winner take all.
That's so
coach.
crazy.
Whoa.
So in the first 5 national championships that LSU won under Skip Bertman, it was a noon or 1 o'clock. I think it was noon Central, 1 o'clock, CBS, television,
Yeah.
full national audience, 1 game winner take all. And honestly, in those 5 games, 91 we were the underdog because they had Tyler Green, who was a 15th pick in the draft by the Phillies, first overall, big 6'6" righty with a knuckle curve. That was 83. Then you had in 93 we faced Darren Dreifert,
Okay.
who was a first pick overall by the Dodgers. Did Dreifert pitch in that game? I think he did. They had 2 first rounders or something. They were. I don't think Dreifert started. I think he had thrown the semifinal, but they were. Which we probably were the I don't know. 93 we lost and had to come through the losers bracket.
Wow.
Oof.
And so we
Yes.
probably were like a dog against Wichita State probably in that finals.
Yeah.
96, the Miami game where it was back and
That's
forth
so
and Warren
crazy.
Morris hit
Yeah.
the homer. LSU might have been a dog going into that one.
Oh,
97
man.
LSU was favored. 2000 they were the dog because Stanford had a first round
yeah,
pick on
that's
the
right.
bump, and
Yep.
LSU did. I don't know. Like my point is LSU was the dog 3 or 4 of those 5 national championships in the final game.
Yeah.
They were the underdog.
Yeah.
And obviously we know they came from behind against Stanford. They came from behind against Miami.
Miami, yep.
And they were led the whole way in 91, 93, 97. But it was just an unbelievable experience. I mean, we got to go to the White House in 91. We got
Yep.
to go meet George H. Bush.
Okay.
And it was on the day that we went, it was the 50th anniversary of the 1941 season. And Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio were there. And we had a chance to meet Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio. We did
That's
a
really
reception in the Rose Garden. It was live on CNN. The whole ceremony was live on CNN.
I love that.
They brought up, Skip didn't even go. He had hip surgery.
Oh, no.
So Sandy, his wife, went, and Smoko Val went. They're the ones that presented the president with the jersey with his name on it. He was a first baseman. George H. Bush was at Yale. He wore number 2, so they gave him a number 2 LSU jersey from when he played at Yale. It was a magical experience, man.
Yeah.
I got a chance. I got the president signed a baseball. George H.
man.
Bush on a baseball.
Holy
Brought a
shit.
baseball in my pocket.
Damn, that's a pro move.
yeah.
That's a salty move
Yeah.
right there.
Buddy with the
We,
collectibles shop.
I had a
Yeah.
conversation with Ted Williams. Ted Williams had a bolo tie, and he was like, "Let me guess what big booming voice, big
Yeah.
personality."
Wow.
And he was like, "Let me guess, son, what position you play?" I said, "Go ahead." He goes, "First base." He starts guessing everything but left-handed pitcher. And then he's like, "Well, what makes a curveball curve?" And I said, "Well, it doesn't pop up; it just breaks down." And I go through my explanation. He goes, "No, that's not it." And he goes into his long explanation, and when he gets to the end, it's the same thing I just said.
You're like,
But
yes,
I'm
sir.
like, "Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir, Mr. Williams.
You got it.
Absolutely.
You're right.
You hit 400. Yep, 100%. Yeah,
And
you're
then
the
Joe
guy.
DiMaggio was like what you would expect him to be. He was in a custom suit and just statement. Wow.
Statement.
He was a statelinly kind of dresser. I mean, he looked like he was like the vice president of the United States.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, this guy was married to
Marilyn
Monroe,
yeah,
coach.
yeah,
I mean, he's the man.
You got to figure it out.
And,
Yeah.
they got songs about him, and
Yeah.
people cry,
Yep.
when he played and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff. And he had the 56-game hit streak in 1941. It still stands. And
crazy.
he was just a very quiet, very
That's awesome.
distinguished type
Yeah.
gentleman. It was awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Oh my God, I love
We
that.
talk about LSU baseball being a brand. You were
Who just
kind
got 10 run ruled, by the way.
Okay, well
They
that was
walked
not
us
good timing to
In the
add
bottom
that
of the
in.
8th. 15-5. Yeah, they just on a walk too, I think.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
On a walk.
It was 5-5.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was 5-5.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I think we
This
made some.
whole series
We left
is-
Thatcher in a little too long. That's what we talked about. Yeah.
I
that's-
think-
Put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Because I
What?
want to actually
Yeah,
know it
okay.
right now. Okay,
What?
Thatcher's starting on Sundays. Do you think he should be starting on Sundays?
At this point, yes.
You do.
The Anderson kid is going to be there,
That's
what I
right?
said,
We
yeah.
all know
I
that
said
he's
that
going
last
to be
week,
there. But like right now, and then look, he didn't do well yesterday. He went
Right.
in there, threw in a third or 2/3,
Right.
gave up 3 hits and 3 runs. When you're a freshman and you're a superstar on the rise like he is, Unless you have to, bring him along slowly.
Yep.
Keep his confidence up. Let him be confident.
Right.
Wait for the right moment. And on the road ain't the right moment.
Right.
Yeah.
First SEC
Mississippi,
in that atmosphere
exactly.
on the road, like it's overwhelming,
Yeah.
and it clearly was for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
So no, I would think he eventually will be there. I think Hurd. I know Anthony and I agree. He's more of a reliever. And just bring them along slowly. This will be a learning curve. They've got Florida this weekend coming up at home.
Is it Florida? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Florida's not Florida like we thought.
Right.
They're mortal, you know. But LSU will be home, and but Anderson's what not to like. That dude's a superstar.
Yeah.
It's
I thought I called it last week when they took him out of the game. I was like, that's why she was asking. Yeah. I was like, if you do the math, it would be his 5th day on Sunday. I was like, maybe Thatcher, where they piggyback him with Thatcher, you know, or something like that. But I think, yeah, I mean, and we saw what Thatcher could do out of the bullpen. He's got electric stuff, but he nibbles too much. He runs up his counts too much, and then falls behind and has to throw pitches, you know. So I mean, again,
and
we wouldn't have won the national championship without the guy last year. But
and look, he's probably going to pitch in the big league.
Yes.
like he's going to figure it out.
Yeah, maybe a
like
first rounder
super
this year.
young.
Yeah, exactly.
He's super young. He throws 96. He's got a start breaker. You know, he's got decent mechanics.
Absolutely.
He's a former catcher, by the way, converted to be a pitcher, and you can see it.
I was just gonna say with the arm
you
action,
can see it a little
sense.
bit,
Yeah, that
like
makes
short
sense.
arm
Yeah,
here. Like he's out of high school, he was a big catcher. Jay recruited him in
didn't know that.
Arizona. So what happened was Jay's at Arizona. Thatcher comes to camp. He brings his buddy. His buddy was the dude pitcher, like a guy.
Yeah.
When that guy signed, like Thatcher, you know, whatever. Like they converted Thatcher to more of a pitcher his senior year, but it was a slow process. But my point is, like, he's gonna when that dude's 25, it's gonna click.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
It's gonna click.
Yeah.
And look,
It's
Christian
easy.
Little, probably the same way.
Yeah.
Guy throws 96 miles an hour, can't get me out, right? Like, and he was great as a freshman, and he hasn't been since. But the health is there, and he can throw 96, which is not a lot of people on the planet can do that.
Right.
But he needs like minor league professional baseball
He's 2 years.
innings
Yeah, he needs
and
all
work
of it. Reps,
and
get on the
like,
routine,
we gotta
and
put the finger on the right till we get the cutter, you know, and like, you know, because he can't throw a breaking ball, so it's got to be cutter.
Yep.
You know, there's just, you know, but unfortunately, we care about what they are as 19, 20, 21 years old.
Right.
And
they're
going
going to be good at 24, 25.
And they have to win
but they
now.
got to win now.
That's the biggest thing with college baseball that we talk about is like the hardest thing is, like Ronnie's saying, these guys we could look back at this team, there could be 15 arms that pitch in the big leagues.
Right.
But 15 guys are not going to contribute to this team this year in an elite way.
Right.
It's just that's the hard part is they need to go develop. They need to fail, but they can't fail here. And and that's the hard part.
That's the tough part about the decision between going to pro or going to college. When you're like a Cam Johnson, you know, when you're a high-end guy that's going to get $1 million or more. If you're not getting $1 million, that's nothing to think about. But if you're getting $1 million or more and you're trying to decide whether to go to college or pro, in the minor leagues, if you're 18 and they give you $2 million, they're going to let you stink for 3 years.
Exactly.
And because they're just going to get you your work, and they know.
You got a nice
they're going to let you
runway.
stink, and you're going to get all your innings no matter what. Cam Johnson might not see the mound much this year.
Literally might be done.
Because he can't throw a strike.
Exactly.
And the guy throws 96. He's left-handed. The guy's might be the best pitcher ever to play here one day. It ain't now.
Right.
Okay? And LSU cannot afford to just, hey, go get your innings, Cam. Let's just walk everybody. We're going to figure it out. You can't
Go
do
throw
that.
18 pitches, 14 balls, that are going to the backstop and everything.
You can't do that. And he could do that in rookie ball.
Yep.
He could do that in
and they expect
Port
that.
Lucci, Florida, where nobody knows.
That's what a lot of guys do. It's 100 miles an hour balls
I've
going all over.
I've asked him, you know, what would be a decision maker to you forego college ball to go to the pros, and that perspective is one that I didn't even think of.
And well, in his case, his number was like 3.2 or 3.3 million.
Cam.
Talked to his dad in the fall, and he told me I think it was like 3.3, and they got up to 2 something, but nowhere close.
Which is crazy to think about that he had that offer on the table and said no. I'm like, my number. I was telling somebody this morning at breakfast. I'm like, my number was 400,000. I was begging for like just take me. I don't want to go to school. Like,
I don't want to go to class. Nobody wants to go to class.
I don't want to go to school. I was like, I want to go play baseball for a living.
Right. The good news is that if you ever meet Cam Johnson and his family, he's a great kid. They're all about education. You know that's awesome. It just all depends on where you come from.
Exactly.
And what do your parents do for a living? And what's your education? How smart are you? Do you like school? Are you good in school? What do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, like everybody has a different answer to that.
My mom is in the chat, so she did want me to go to school, so I got to make sure I say that. Yeah, she wanted me to go. She was going to be, if she hears this, she'll be very mad at me.
There was a kid that this is unbelievable. There was a kid from Shreveport that LSU signed within the last 10 years. I want to say maybe not long ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah. You got a
signed
name?
for $100,000 out of high school. I think Jennings was his last name.
Okay, yeah.
And went JUCO or something. Signed for $100,000. That's how much he didn't like
Right.
school.
Yeah, he was
right?
like, yeah, I know myself. I'm not going to a class.
And,
yeah.
and look, I mean, at least he was honest with himself.
yeah, exactly.
But like, or no, it's no, it was like maybe 5 to 10 years ago. I know exactly who it was.
That's wild.
And that's shocking.
Yep.
You know, that's shocking.
Ronnie, somebody said in here, and again, there's been some reactions to it. I'm in the chat.
Lost it.
Somebody said it's gonna be a long season. They'll be lucky to make a regional. I feel like that's the most LSU.
Might be, yeah, that might be a little overreaction.
A little
That's what we
overreaction.
expect from LSU fans.
That'd be
You know,
overreaction.
Exactly.
this is-
Again, we love them, but that's why they're so passionate. Yeah.
Look, I mean, last year LSU played South Carolina early in the year on the road at South Carolina.
Only team to beat Skeens, right? I think.
Yeah,
Or is it- yeah.
Skeens went 6-1 last year, and SEC played with
Yeah.
like a 2.2 ERA. In 10 starts. Okay, so Skeens didn't win every start.
Right.
Okay, he went 6-1 with a 2.2 ERA. But at South Carolina, LSU was lucky to win one, and then they got rained out on
Exactly.
Sunday, and that was
They
a
were
win.
there, yeah.
That was a win because they were not
100%.
going to win. They didn't
Right.
even know who was going to pitch
Yep.
that day. So look, things can change, man. It's a long
Absolutely.
season, and they have they're uber talented. I just think Mississippi State on the road, and look, when you're LSU, you don't have to play a tough road schedule, and they didn't.
Yeah.
They played 3 games in Houston. They were home games.
Yeah.
Okay. Even against
Absolutely.
Texas, they were home games.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
25,000, 18 of them were LSU
Yep.
fans.
Fans, yep.
So they're not battle tested for the road. They don't have to play on the road. They don't play on the road.
Yep.
Even the one time they played on the road against Southeastern, they were
Yeah,
down
it was-
3-1 in the
yeah.
ninth, and it took miracle.
Down to the last strike. Yeah, exactly.
So, look, they're going to go get beat up. This is a terrible weekend. They're lucky to win one.
Yep.
They'll regroup. They'll be fine. What that number looks like, fine, I don't know. I have 17 and 13 is what I wrote down and picked.
I feel like that would be a great.
Buzzy Heidel had 18 and 12, and I think Doug was 17 and 13 or 18 and 12. He was
Yeah.
one of those. I got it written down because we always go to dinner right before the SEC and kind of make our predictions. We take everybody's batting averages and all that, and
I
like
love
predict.
it.
I like
You know, and I
that.
keep track of it, and we see who's right
Let's
at the end of the
go.
year.
We should get those stats and keep track of them for
Yeah.
them. Like, that would be fun to see. Yeah.
But 17, 13. But I have them not being a top 8 national seed. They both think they will be a top
Wow.
8 national
Yeah.
seed. I have them like 9 or 10.
I'm kind of with you. I'm with you. I think in the beginning of the year, I was like, I want to see how the bats come out and who protects Tommy White. And again, it's super early, so again, please take this with a grain of salt, everybody. But I just don't know who's going to protect Tommy long term. I think Jones got exposed a little bit this weekend again with good pitching today. He hit a home run yesterday and I think the day before, but he's going to hit home runs, but he's going to strike out a lot too, and they're going to pitch around him or to pitch around Tommy to get to him and things like that. So I want to see those things, but I kind of agree with you. I think they're right on the outside of the national seed. I don't see us hosting, but again, it's early and you never know who's going to step up.
Jones is if you throw him a fastball in the strike zone, you should be. There's something wrong with you.
100%.
I mean, it's just breaking ball, and then
Just
when
throw
maybe you throw a fastball up or
Yeah,
out. Or
show it
something.
away. Yeah,
But
exactly.
there's
That's
no.
it.
I mean, and he's gonna. And in my opinion, this is my opinion. I think he hits I want to see what I wrote down. I
Yeah.
forgot, but I think he's gonna hit 270
Yep.
with 15,
That's
16
I'm
bombs.
kind of with you. I'm
Something
like,
like that.
I think around
How many
18 to
does he have?
20. He's got 6 or 7 maybe.
If he hit one today, I think he's got 7.
Yeah, I don't know if he hit one today, but he hit one yesterday
He
for
hit one,
sure.
everything
Yeah.
but 7.
Yeah,
'cause
so
Tommy White doubled his homers. He went from
Yeah,
2 to
he had
4
3
this
weekend.
weekend.
he
But
did
that's
another
what
one
he can
today.
do.
I think on your way here, he hit
Yeah.
one too.
Oh,
yeah.
like another
This
one.
Yeah,
weekend,
today. Yeah, he hit 3
No, no.
every game.
Oh, he hit one in every game?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he won today.
Oh, he did? Oh,
Yeah.
so he went 2 to 5.
Yeah, 2 to
There
5
you go.
today. Yeah, so he had a good series. I put him on track and everything. But again, I think once they figure out on their scouting reports, that's the thing too, right? These guys are going to be. I mean, the scouting report's out on Jones already, but I think the other guys that are batting around him and stuff like that are. It's gonna be there. I don't know. That's what makes me nervous. I've always said that from day one. It's gonna be what pitchers can step up, can Gage jump, be relied on late in the year too,
Right.
coming back from surgery, and things like that as our number 2 starter. It looks like Holman's pretty solidified as our
All
number
3
1.
starters this weekend were awful, and that's shocking.
I know.
That's shocking. That not
Especially
one
after
of them
last
had a good
weekend,
start.
yeah,
I mean,
after-
they've all been. I mean, obviously, Jump and Holman hadn't given up an earned run.
know, that's wild.
Until this
Yeah.
weekend,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
so
they both
crazy.
had laid an egg. I mean, that's.
Yeah. Things looked a little off for Holman too, where I was like his mound presence and his demeanor and all that stuff. But I mean, even the pickoffs and stuff, they had to come back to the mound. They weren't on the same page. It just looked a little lost, and that could be that road stuff.
Road,
Look,
especially
Mississippi
Mississippi
State
exactly.
is the
Yeah.
hardest
Yeah,
place to
absolutely.
play on the road.
Yep,
Yeah.
It
absolutely.
is. I mean,
Yep.
it's harder than LSU because LSU's fans are nicer now than they used to be. Right? When you were at the old box in 08, you remember.
Yeah.
The old stadium was smaller. It was right on top of you.
was so
more
great.
uncomfortable.
Yep.
You know, like they had bleachers outside of the gold seats behind home plate. Everybody were in bleachers. So that meant like when you played in a May game, my thigh is touching a stranger's thigh, and we're both sweating on each other, right? And we're going to a bathroom in a trailer down the left and right field line. There's no sushi. There's no like really good food. There's no Dippin' Dots. You know, it's just straight popcorn, burger, dog.
Grinders,
you know what I mean? Like,
grinders
like
are there.
It was baseball.
Yep.
Like, we're here for baseball. Like the new box. I mean, you know, we've got sweets. I mean, I go to games. I don't even see half the games.
Exactly.
I'm eating tenders. I'm talking to people. You
it's
know,
literally
whatever.
why I don't go to games. I'm like, I can't watch the game. I'm like, it's so many other things there.
There's
Yeah,
so
no, you're
many things.
absolutely right.
I mean, they used to have a sushi place down underneath. They don't anymore. I made sushi one time with Skip for I was doing sidelines when we first opened the box, and him and I made sushi on TV. Like it was crazy.
And you're like, wait, there's a game going on. Oh shit.
So it's too nice, and it's great, and it's big, and they had to do it. I get it, but that Mississippi State's got a little more of that grit, and that outfield lounge is nobody's got that. It's different, and for all these players to go on the road first, you know. It's not surprising that they were overwhelmed, but I think they'll be fine. They'll learn from it.
Absolutely, and that's what you got to do. Good teams will, and Jay's a great coach, so he'll have, and they got a great staff, so they'll figure it out.
He ain't sleeping tonight, coach.
Oh, he ain't.
That guy ain't sleeping.
Oh, he's gonna be up. He'll be at the stadium probably till 11:30, 12, doing stuff.
Watching film, figuring it out.
Everything, yeah. He's the greatest. Yep.
About 5-10 minutes ago, I started to ask a question, and I still want your answer. We talk about LSU baseball being a brand, LSU athletics in general right now especially, but specifically baseball. You kind of, I mean, you played for Skip. Like, he started this, the powerhouse idea, and the way that LSU baseball has evolved. What was your personal experience like playing under him?
Well, I mean, it was great, and I wasn't a great player. I had a few moments. You know, I beat Tulane in a regional. We were facing elimination. I got to start in 92. You know, beat Tulane, which was cool because they were a big rival back then, right? Yeah. I won 2 games in an SEC tournament, made all SEC tournament team in the Superdome. We played the Superdome. So those had some good moments, but I was just a middle of the pack pitcher, but I learned a lot from Skip. He's like a second father to me. You know, my father passed 2.5 years ago, and I mean, I think of Skip like that. And you know, I realized later how much I learned from him. You know, when you're a punk 19, 20, 21-year-old, I mean, I was a terrible student. I was partying at the Tiger every night. I was like, man, I'll worry about school after I pitched 10 years in the big leagues.
Exactly.
I'll get back. Well, you know, and I mean, Skip's throwing motivational quotes, you know, sheets, because it was, you know, we didn't have cell phones back then. We'd meet a girl, we'd run home, hit the answering machine. Like, did she call? You know, I mean, it was a different world, Coach. And so, like, we'd write our numbers on napkins at the bar. Like, we didn't have all that stuff. So like, Skip was, I didn't realize how much I learned till later. And, you know, I think I said this at the alumni thing that you and I were at, you know, of all the things I learned, and there's a million things, the simplest one is T.O.B. He used to always talk about, don't T.O.B. He goes, the nation's pastime's not baseball and apple pie. The nation's pastime is T.O.B. And everybody's like, well, what's T.O.B.? T.O.B. is transferable blame. Don't blame other people for I didn't make it, or I failed the test, or I struck out. You know, umpire screwed me. The teacher doesn't like me. You know, whatever. Like my boss hates me. Like, don't blame people for your lack of something. It's your fault, and figure it out. And so that TOB is something that I feel like I do a good job of, and I implement, and I learn that from him. And that's you know, I don't make excuses for when my shortcomings, right?
Yeah. Accountability. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, accountability. And that's what he was. And look, when I played, it's a lot different now because they micromanage you now. Like when you don't go to class on Tuesday at 11, they know. At 11:05. Right? Skip would have like a midterm check-in. He'd be like, hey, everything going good? You know, he'd get the grades. You know, he knew where you were midterm. He'd be like, he'd tell me one time, he said, hey, Rantz, listen, it's not a prerequisite that you have to drink all the beer in Baton Rouge every time you go out. All right? How about this? Go get you a water. Put a lime on the edge of the glass. Tell everybody it's a vodka tonic. You'll still be cool. They'll never know. You know, and
that's what we were talking about here. We were like, you know what? Because I haven't been drinking in like a couple weeks, so I was like, I'm just gonna salt the rim here so I look cool, and like I'm drinking here at Modesto. But that's so funny that he said that to you guys.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you know,
put a lime on it.
Just put a lime on it, you'll still look cool.
Yeah, there's some other things he said off air. If your mom's listening, I'm not gonna say. But no, he was the best, man, and he cared. The thing about Skip, everything mattered. Like he understood. His analogy was, if I've got a holster full of bullets around my waist, and I've got 38 bullets in my holster, and the other team has 22 bullets in their holster, law of averages say I'm going to win a lot more than they are. And what he meant by bullets was, what can we do?
Right.
How can we beat you? What are all
Yep.
the ways we can beat you?
Yep.
And if we've got 38 ways and you only got 22.
Right.
And that's kind of how
chances.
LSU baseball was under Jada last year, right?
Yep.
They dominant pitching, homer.
Yep.
Now they got to steal, hit and run, bunt,
Yep.
pick off plays, and they're starting to do that a little
Yeah.
bit. We saw
That's
that
right.
last
Yep.
week.
North Dakota State, they did a first and third, like
Yep.
we're gonna sacrifice an
Almost-
out for a run.
Almost had a heart attack.
Me too. We were going over to the Don. We were going to Don Juan's to do our show, and I'm watching it on the phone, and I'm like, no way they just did that. I've never seen an LSU
With
team.
Milazzo.
Yeah.
He was the one that was at first.
I was like, this is absolutely insane. So I mean, yeah, it's different, but
So,
you gotta-
that was
runs are a
that,
premium.
That was his thing, If we've got eight pickoff plays to second base, he goes, "When are we ever going to run 8 pickoff plays?" Never. But like, if the other team knows we've got 8 pickoff plays that we can execute and run, and we can show them we can do it, then they can't steal.
Yep. It's in their
And
head.
he was a genius, man.
Yep, he is, and to this day, he still is. I mean, just sitting to talk with him, even as he's getting older in age, you can definitely see that. But I mean, still sitting with him, he has so much wisdom, and he remembers everything. I always tell you the story too about my recruiting visit. He was the AD, and I was in there for 5 minutes, and my dad was with me, and every time I see him, hey, how was Angelo? I'm like, that's unbelievable. He's great. Yeah, thanks for asking. Like, how do you remember
So
that?
he's always great, as you talking about, like remembering names.
Yeah.
But he doesn't always get it right. Okay, I got a classic story. Skip speaking. He was always he was the lunch guy, right? Everybody wanted him to come speak at a big business luncheon or something because he's the best speaker, especially back then.
Yeah.
And he would always write down on a little piece of paper, he wanted to know who the 4 big dudes in the room were. Who's here? Eric Lane with Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Got to make sure he's here. He would wanted to know, and so he knew that there was a hardware store. And it's still here in Baton Rouge. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Oh my gosh, it's a local big hardware store, and it was very successful. I'm just going to say the name. There's Steins, right?
Yeah,
Okay, but it wasn't Steins. But I'm going to say the name is Steins. And the guy who founded its name was Wayne Stein. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to make that up. I can't remember the dang name of it. And Skip knew that they had a table in the front, and so he's going to make sure they were a sponsor. So he's going to make sure. And so he gets to the podium, the old dais. The guy, he's sitting right here next to the podium. He stands up, grabs the mic. Hey, before we get going, want to thank a few people here in the room. It's great to see, Eric with Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Ooh, they're the best. And Wayne with Wayne Stein. Great, always good to see Wayne. Glad to be here. And the guy who was the MC pulls on Skip's shirt, and he leans over. Yeah, the guy goes, "Hey, Wayne's dead. That's his son, Rich." And Skip goes, "Ooh, sorry there, Wayne couldn't be with us, but good to see Rich here." And he went on. Didn't miss a beat, Coach. Didn't miss a beat.
Dude, Skip is the best. He is the best, dude. That is unbelievable. Oh my God, you should have heard the stories at the. We were kind of not embarrassing him, but he was like you kind of made a good point. He's in that grandfather stage, like, I didn't do that,
Right.
type thing. We were calling him out on different things, and he was laughing because he knew they were true and stuff. But I mean, he's just the man. He's the best.
He told a pitcher one time. He told a pitcher one time on senior day. The guy had a really good start to his career, but then things didn't go as well towards the end, and it was senior day, and Skip let him pitch a little bit in relief. They were getting beat at home. He put him in. The guy throws gasoline on the fire. Doesn't go well. Skip goes to pull him, and the guy takes a couple steps off the mound towards the dugout. And Skip goes, "Hey, Ranaudo, come back here." And when have you ever seen a pitcher hand the ball to the coach, walk off the mound?
I think
about
I would
3 steps. And
I would pretend I didn't hear him.
Right, and then he turns around. He's, "Yeah, coach," and the guy walks back up on the mound, and he goes, "Hey, do me a favor. When you're walking back to the dugout, I want you to look up in the stands and find your mother because she's so effing embarrassed."
That's worse than the "I recruited you" story. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, now he's like, come on.
Yeah,
Come on. He's
He's like-
Rantz is so full of it. I didn't say that.
Made him
Off
come
the
back.
mound for
That's brutal.
Right.
I called him out, not called him out, but at the LSU alumni thing, I'd heard some stories, and then I was super happy that I heard that Bird said it on the ESPN thing, because I asked him, he was sitting next to me, I'm Skip, I'm like, I got to ask you before we go, Skip. I'm like, I've always heard the story when I showed up on campus. It was like a super funny story that I'd always heard, but did you ever take a picture out of the game and tell him, hey, man, it's all right. I recruited you. Don't worry. Like, where it was like, hey, it's not your fault, big guy. You know, I recruited you or whatever. And he started laughing. He goes, no, I never said that. And then Pete Bush is like, he did. He's like, he did.
Yeah.
And then
100% he said
yeah,
that.
so
Multiple
funny.
times.
Like, yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. He was
Some of those
brutal.
skit
He was
stories.
brutal, but he's brutal but honest.
Yeah.
And you always knew where you stood with him. And that's all you can ask for as a coach. Like, if you ever wondered, you know, like there was a guy who played backup shortstop in 1990. Scott Bethea was the shortstop in 1990, the year before I got there.
Yeah.
Bethea's dad had been a legendary assistant at Texas under Gus Gustafson, and then had gone on to be the head coach of Arkansas State like the next year. And so they needed a JUCO transfer, somebody to fill the void.
Yeah.
And they put him in there, and Scott didn't have the best year. They made some errors, a little more than he wanted. And the guy who was the backup, was he was ready. You know, he got the glove. And he's like, and there was a couple games in a row where he would creep up on the steps, letting coach know, you know, letting him know.
I'm
you know,
ready. Here we go.
Hey,
Put me in,
here,
coach.
You know, I'm ready to go. Ready to go. And finally, Skip had had enough, and he looks at the guy and he says, "Hey, Ranaudo, I don't care how many effing errors Bethea makes. You're not going in. Have a seat."
No. Hey, I see you, bro.
In front of the dugout. He was like, okay. He just sat back down. All right.
Can you imagine that?
I mean, now, the guy would have to have, now if they did that, he would tweet out something.
Oh, 100%. I was just going to say, the parents would have called during the game. Yeah,
sessions and all that.
The mental health behind it would have been.
Right.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
You
Sorry.
gotta
Mental health's
respect it,
important.
though.
It is.
You
Right.
gotta
Oh, you
respect
totally-
it.
Oh, it is a different time, and it was different times. But those are that's an have a seat. Doesn't matter how many hours.
That's gold.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's unbelievable. That's why we have him on the show, dude. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. We gotta have Skip on and ask him some of these.
I know. We're gonna
Oh
work
my
on
God.
that.
He'll
Yeah,
believe
we
me
are.
Rantz lied
Rantz
to
is
you. Doesn't
lying.
do that.
I didn't do any of it.
I'm just gonna have a list. I'm gonna be like, well, this is what somebody else said too. Here, I got another one for you, Skip. Here you go.
Right.
Oh,
All right.
my
Well, I
God.
know you have dinner in New Orleans. It's 4:15,
Well, I
so we'll get
appreciate
you
it.
rolling out of here. But we appreciate you. For
Well,
hanging
before he
out.
goes, hold on. I want to talk about really quick. I'm sorry to
Saint
interrupt.
Laurent?
No. His hats and
Oh, yeah.
jackets that. So obviously, you guys know. If you don't know, maybe you don't. I have a collectible shop in Perkins Row. We sell merchandise, fan wear, things like that, and obviously all kinds of sports cards. But we're gonna start carrying some of Ronnie's new stuff when he gets it in. This is a really cool jacket that he's
These
getting.
are, the old starter jackets from the
Yeah.
90s are cool again,
love
right?
Little
And so-
streetwear vibe.
vintage.
Yep.
So this one's really light. It's got Baton Rouge on the front, so you can rep the city.
Yep.
It's got the Rugaru logo on
I
there.
like the logo too.
It's
Yep.
got our TCL logo on the back,
Yep.
and then on the back you got the eyes.
Hey,
You got
there
the
we go. I like that.
Rugaru eyes, right?
Yep.
And
Love
so
that.
really cool jacket. We're gonna get you some of those to carry in the store, and then we're really excited. These are our game hats, and you can buy these game hats on brrugaru.com. But we're
Nice.
gonna get you some
Yeah.
custom hats that say Baton Rouge on the front
showed
in,
me them.
in
I'm
our
like,
colors.
yeah.
They're really sweet,
Yep.
and then we'll have our Rugaru logo on the side.
Yep.
That is a-
And I think that's the cool thing about these is that I've had a lot of compliments because people just love the Baton Rouge. They want to rep the city.
Exactly. That's what I mean. I
They
was
wanna
like,
rep the city.
I'll take some pictures in
Yeah.
it for you too, because I think the hats are going to sell really well too.
Yeah.
You showed me some pictures and some concepts of them. They're right on trend and everything. I think they're gonna definitely slap.
Yeah,
here
so
in
we
the
should
city.
have all that to you probably within a month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be the time. I told you we're gonna kind of rebrand the shop. We're gonna have a grand reopening and stuff with. Oh my gosh, that was so
It
close.
made it almost
Look at-
the whole
I told
show.
you. Well, I
Good
told
thing
you the
put the
bottle.
there.
Yeah, the
We
bottle
had a
saved it.
discussion before the show.
Yeah.
By the way, the
bottle
St.
saved it.
Rock vodka, I got a funny story. So my parents are from New Orleans,
Yeah.
and my dad grew up living on St. Rock.
Really?
No way.
That's the street he grew up
Well,
on.
that was a big reason why I really like the brand. I got to know the people,
Right.
So we're obviously brand ambassadors and helping them kind of tell their story and stuff. But we went down to the distillery, and I didn't understand what 7-3 meant. And it was for the 73 neighborhoods that are in New Orleans, and all their
Right.
different liquors are named after different neighborhoods and stuff. So that's super cool.
Yeah, pretty
I love
cool.
that.
Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and
I
if
like
you
the
got-
logo.
Yeah, while we're on it, St. Rock Vodka, one of the sponsors of the show. It is the official vodka of the Bayou Traditions Collective, which means that when you, of course, if you're 21, when you buy the bottle, portions go back into the collective and help support our great student athletes that we have at LSU. So make sure you guys go check them out. It is great vodka. I know I haven't been drinking for a couple weeks, and I've been making note of that. But when I do drink, that's my vodka of choice. So.
Well, I'll go to it. I was a Tito's guy, but now I'll
Me
be a
too.
St. Rock
That's why
guy.
I was a big Tito's guy. I used to order Tito's and water, but now I'm a
Is
St.
it-
Rock and water
it-
guy.
What's it kind of remind you of? Is it flavor close to anything,
It's
or
like a little sugar.
Yeah, there's a little
Like
sweetness.
little-
Sweetness to it.
yeah,
sugar
so
I don't
crash
mind that.
kind of thing.
Yeah, they distill it in like a organic Louisiana cane sugar. So,
Okay.
And they showed us the whole process when we went down there. It's super cool. The distillery is awesome. They have a great event space too. So, yeah, it's like I drink vodka. That's my drink. So I just drink it with a little bit of water. I can drink it on the rocks. That is super nice. So it is smooth. It's easy. Yeah, so it is. I like it a lot.
Yeah, if you like Tito's, you more than likely.
Well, I
like that.
appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Sure.
I'm glad you're doing your thing, and I know I can't make the Tuesdays because I'm
Yeah,
working all
that's
the
right.
LSU games, but I appreciate y'all having me. I guess what we got this week. I forget who they're playing on
Louisiana
Tuesday.
Tech.
La Tech,
Tech.
wow.
Okay, La Tech's always a
Yep.
decent squad. They got
Yep.
off to a good start this year, so
Yeah.
hopefully LSU get back on the winning side. But thanks for having me. Don't judge. I know I'm going to dinner in New Orleans, but I am going to eat a taco
gonna
before I
say-
leave.
oh
Get
That's
in
all
there,
right.
dude.
Like,
Yes, please eat.
Yeah, we're here at Modesto. They have the best food in town. They really do, and they got great margaritas. I was never a tequila guy before I had their margaritas, but their margaritas,
my fault.
yeah, thanks. Well, we came here for a great tasting, and they had like, it was like right around Halloween time, and so they had these like, I never thought I would have ever tried a pumpkin margarita. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, it was pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice.
It was so good.
Of course, yeah. So I was very hesitant. Yeah, it was. It was kind of candle. Yeah, it was candle vibes. Yeah. Yeah. So we tried them all one night, and it was super. Yeah. What's the jalapeno pine? You can jump across. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're
We
good.
tried.
The pineapple. No, that was good. That was good. That was
Jalapeno
impressive.
The pineapple jalapeno margarita.
Yeah, the jalapeno margarita
Best one in
has like a
Baton
black salt rim. Yeah, it's absolutely delicious. Yeah, so
Best one in Baton Rouge.
I'm looking forward to when I have a drink again, grabbing one of those.
Couple months.
Couple months. Yeah, been doing good. So
We're on a health kick.
yeah, that's it. What
All
else
right.
we want to talk about? We got La Tech this week.
We do.
We'll see what happens. Who's going to start
Midweek?
midweek?
We'll be back. Who you think it's
I don't
gonna be
know.
Cade?
No, I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. I think there's a chance he might. I mean, after this weekend, I think there might be a chance he's our Sunday guy. I know what we're talking about with Ronnie is, but at home against Florida, it might be a good opportunity for him to get his feet wet as a starter.
Okay, so if it's not Anderson, who is it?
You're putting me on the spot. I don't know.
know,
I
I
don't.
am.
And
I'm
midweek
sorry.
is so interesting, especially early in the year, because you're just trying different guys in different roles and stuff. So I don't even know. I don't even have a name for you. I don't think.
Okay, well, how do you use this weekend to go into a midweek? We talked about midweeks whenever we had Maneri on the show,
Yeah.
and about upsets and that kind of thing. No shot they lose this Tuesday game after this
I
weekend.
wouldn't say no shot, but.
Well, I'm saying, how do you use this weekend to make sure that doesn't happen?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that he puts a lot of, like we said, Jay's going to do a lot of homework this weekend, and when he gets home, I know he is, and I think you see a shake-up in the lineup again. He shook up the lineup a few times this weekend and tried different guys at the top. He's taking Paxton Kling out, but maybe Paxton gets back in there, right? Put him in the 9 spot where there's not a lot of pressure on him, see if he can get something rolling, but we got to figure something out where we get back on that train. We gave up 33 runs in 3 games. It's pretty brutal. So again, our pitching staff, which I thought was going to be the strength of the team this year, took a little hit this weekend. But again, Mississippi State on the road is tough. So is it home?
Next weekend?
No, I'm saying midweek.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are back
So that's
in Alice
good.
Box, so
Yeah.
that's a plus for them.
Yep.
Do you have any Mississippi State stories?
Mm.
You played there.
Yeah. I just remember the cowbells. They got some
Oh.
crazy ass cowbells
Oh.
there. Yeah. So. I just remember my freshman year doing some batting practice, shagging out there, and the fans are pretty ruthless. They're into it, and I enjoyed it though, because I'm a kid from Jersey, so I enjoy a little banter. I think it was my sophomore year that we went there. I don't think my freshman year we went there. So I think my sophomore year we went there, and then my freshman and junior year they came here. So I was one of the main pitchers. I was the Friday night starter as a sophomore year, so I think Saturday and Sunday I was out there. I think I beat them too, so I was ready to give them a little hell and give it back to them. So they were bantering with me and giving me some shit, but it was fun.
I'm sure you
And
loved that.
oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah, that's the best part of the game.
You love to
honestly.
jaw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't not like to jaw. Yeah, for sure. So no, I'm trying to remember any specific stories. I do remember when they came here. Yeah, they definitely came here my junior year. They had a dude that hit a ball over the Intimidator.
Oh my.
So yeah, that was pretty impressive. Yeah.
Who?
I don't remember who it was. It was it was their catcher. He wound up playing pro ball. I can't remember his name right now, but he hit an absolute bomb where it was like one of those ones where you're like in the dugout and we all look around and we're like,
Shit.
oh boy, like that's pretty impressive.
Damn.
Yeah. So I do remember that. Again, I remember Ron Polk. My freshman year, we did. That's again. Here I am. I'm putting it all together. My freshman year was at home. I said that earlier. We closed out the box. It was the last weekend. We always had the last weekend series. I think against Mississippi State. in all 3 years that I was here, I think. So yeah, in my freshman year, it was the last weekend at the old Alex box. So we did this whole send off, and there was like I don't know, all this stuff that I didn't really understand, like, you know, Louisiana culture and things like that. I was still learning. I was 18 years old, so there, I remember seeing the word lanyap, and I was like, what is lanyap?
No.
I'm like, yeah. So yeah, I'm from New Jersey. Relax, okay?
Cut him some slack.
Yeah. So I didn't know.
Wait, question. So
Yeah.
we were talking about, since we were talking about the state series, they have an ambidextrous pitcher.
Oh, how do we not talk
An
about that?
ambidextrous pitcher. Have you ever seen that? Because he's throwing gas 96 from the right side. Next batter switches to the left side.
He was up to
throwing
98.
92.
He was up to 98 from the right side a lot.
Excuse me?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying
98
that was
on the
explosive.
Right, 92 on the left. Strikeout like.
I don't know why he didn't go left more, because it seemed like his left stuff, and then some lefties.
He was a shortstop.
Yeah.
He came into state as a shortstop.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, what's his name?
There was lefties that he would still pitch righty to, which was weird, huh?
Say it louder.
Yeah, his last name is hard to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pronounced weird.
I'm
It's
not gonna
spelled
try.
different. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
gonna
The
give
announcers
those
kept
props,
saying it,
though.
and I was like, that's not at all what I would have gotten from it. Yeah, so.
Have you
but-
ever seen something like that?
Yes, actually. So I was in the minor leagues, and he wound up making it to the major leagues. But the Yankees had a guy that was one of the first ambidextrous pitchers in professional baseball. I think he might have been one of the first. And they were making a big deal about his glove and all this stuff. But he was 87, 88 from the right side, and like 83, 84 from the left. So it was nothing like this dude. And that's where I'm like, this dude's throwing
98,
fuzz from both.
92.
Yeah. Like, I mean, 92, 93 from the left side is bringing it. Like, you're nice. So yeah, I've never seen anything like that dude today. I literally was like, oh my god, this is fun to watch. And obviously he did well the first 4 innings. He lost the control and had 5 walks by the 5th. Walked in a few runs, but you could see the stuff is there. The body frame is there. The kid's electric. So I'm excited to see how his career progresses. And
Yeah.
you're seeing more. There's actually like 3 or 4 guys in pro ball that do it now, that throw with both arms.
That is so impressive to me.
Yeah,
To be able
that's
to, because
crazy.
it's hard. I mean, it's hard enough to have that kind of control and that velocity.
Yeah, I'm struggling
from
with
one
one.
side.
I used to struggle with one arm. I'm like, there's no way that I'd be able to do 2. I think about 2.
Props
So
to
yeah,
the kid.
that's what I mean. That's pretty impressive. But I would love to know, and I probably should have done a little bit more homework about it. But like I said, there was times that he would face a lefty and go lefty, but then other times he would stay righty against the lefty. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because you feel better about a 97, 98 mile an hour fastball. I don't know.
I would guess it's obviously dependent on the batter and what they see, and
Yeah.
that's insane to me though. What,
Yeah.
does somebody toss him a glove? Like, what does he do?
No, it's one of
It's
those
one-
gloves. Yeah, you flip. It's one glove. It's specially fit for his hand, so you'll see like he'll switch and
never
then it
seen
goes
that
in both.
before.
Yeah, that's why I was saying the first guy was like a big deal, because that was the first question everybody asked. So like, how does he do it? Does he keep a glove in his back pocket? Yeah.
Wow.
No, they made a special glove for him where his hand could fit in both, and his thumb. I don't know. It was some sort of technology that's over my head.
You think you could ever do that? Throw both?
I can throw a lefty actually pretty impressively.
I've seen you throw.
I was actually born a lefty, so growing up I switch hit. My dad always made me switch hit, and it was if I was struggling righty batting, my dad would be like, let's just go hit lefty for a day, like, and don't even think about batting righty, and then everything would kind of lock in righty. It was weird. So I don't know if it was a reset for my brain, and then I hurt my back, and so the way my career ended, took a line drive off my hand in Korea, broke my hand, and then I was coming back from that injury, and I signed with the White Sox on a minor league deal, and I was working out and ruptured a disc in my back. White Sox wanted me to have surgery. I said no, so I wound up staying home, never played again. But when I was coming back from that, I was like, since I had such a weird back injury, I was like, I want to make sure I'm balanced on both sides. So I just started throwing lefty and taught myself lefty, and I can throw the ball like 82 lefty.
I've seen you
Yeah.
throw
So
lefty.
and
That's
it's
why I
actually
said-
somewhat accurate too. Like I
What if-
wouldn't say I can hit spots, but I can have a catch.
Yeah.
I could have a catch.
You should be pretty confident in your left-handed ability. I think. You
I think
could.
it's above average for most. Yeah, people struggle. I can right lefty. I can do things. Yeah. When I played basketball, I would always dribble
Anthony's
lefty.
cooler than everyone else.
You asked.
I did ask. I have to
Unbelievable.
give
You're
you
dumb.
shit every
No, you
show.
don't.
Come on,
No,
we're
you don't.
wrapping up. I hadn't given you any today. I had to.
Drink my drink.
All right, we are going to wrap up here at Modesto. We'll be back next Sunday again for that Florida series. If you're going to the game, make sure you come swing by after. It's just a walk across the street. If you're
Yes.
waiting for a table at Walk-Ons, maybe try Modesto instead. But we'll be out here hanging out.
It's great
and
vibes out here.
it
I love
is.
their
It's-
porch.
You know, it was terrible weather this morning, and it turned out to be a really nice
Yeah,
day.
it did turn out to be a nice
All
day.
about perspective. You
And
got
they
to
have
turn the
great
day
chips
around,
and
right?
salsa. I told you I didn't eat any before the show because I was like, once I start, I can't stop. So I'm
Well,
actually
you
looking forward to
started
crushing.
during the show, and I literally,
Yeah.
you probably heard me in the
I
mic
did,
go,
yeah.
"You're making me want chips.
Yeah, well, they were right there the whole time. You could have eaten them.
Well, I'm trying to get away from eating on camera. Anyway, we will be back at Don Juan on Tuesday for the midweek game against Louisiana Tech. I'm working on getting some guests to hear some more LSU baseball stories. Again, shout out to Ronnie Rantz for coming to hang out. Busy schedule, but he made it happen. Shout out to Modesto for hosting us. St. Rock for sponsoring us. And I do want to shout out our Valley Vision crew here. You can't see all of them, but we've got some of them behind us. They don't even know that I'm about to put them on blast. These are some of our interns who just joined the Valley Vision crew. They're helping us build this brand that we've gotten put on shows, and there's some other ones over here that you may or may not have seen in Instagram stories, but we're building a team, we're building a brand, and we're really excited where this is going. We appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all soon.
Wait. I want to thank everybody for the chat. Sorry.
I didn't have the chat up. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
And somebody just asked Eugene Sutherland, thank you for jumping in there. Are they actually going to talk about the series? We did talk about the series a little bit. Yeah, we've been on for how long? We've been on for a little minute. So, Eugene, we try to mix it in. We obviously tell stories, but we do break down the series. And if you had any questions real quick, you fire them away. We got probably a couple more minutes before we got to roll. But if there's anything specific you want to know, jump in there. But we appreciate everybody
shout out
that
for
is
everybody hanging out in the chat. I know your sister's in there, your
my
mom,
sister's
my
in
mom.
there. I got some family members. I'm waiting for my mom to type in. She's still figuring out this YouTube thing, I think.
You know what? My mom asked me how to type in the chat too.
Oh yeah, I have an aunt that asked about it too. Aunt Patricia, my Aunt Patricia was wondering. Kurt got in there. Look, he figured it out.
Sup? Oh,
Kurt's
he's
in
clapping.
there.
Thanks, Dad.
Mr. Kurt, Eugene, if you got any questions, fire it away. Hurry up. Let us know.
Running out of time, brother.
But the good thing about this stuff and technology is you can just watch it, run it back. You can it'll be still on our YouTube channel.
It's
so
incredible.
if you had any questions specifically, don't hesitate to throw them in there. Jump in there. We usually start in the bottom of the 7th, top of the 8th. We like to catch the end of the game live. And then we kind of go 30 to 45 minutes, an hour, maybe something like that, depending on the conversation, the stories, the vibes, the chat, all that kind of stuff.
Unless it's a 10-run rule, then you kind of avoid.
Yeah, and then I slowly put the computer thing down.
Both of us did it.
Yeah, we just.
I looked over and I was like, the game must be over, and then sure enough.
Yeah, they walked in the last round too. That's not good.
Ugly. We're gonna put it behind us and move forward.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of positive things, Eugene. So this weekend wasn't the best for Tigers, but. The beautiful thing about baseball is they can bounce back, and there's a lot of opportunity left. It's still early in the season, so I'm going to take it that he doesn't have any questions, so we can probably roll.
We're going to roll.
Yeah. Ashley, Mom's going to ask me to teach her. There we go. Yes, she is. We'll show her, Ash, when I come to Charlotte in a few weeks. Thank you guys again. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We really appreciate it. Appreciate the support.
We'll see y'all Tuesday.